Om Sadashivasamarabdham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Bhadram Karnebhi Srinuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagumsastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vriddhashravaha Swastina Purusha Vishwavedaha Swastina Starkyo Arishtanemihi Swastino Brihaspati'r Dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Satyameva Jayate Nandritam Satyena Pantha Vitato Devayanaha Yena Akramanti Rishayaha Akramanti Rishayaha Hi Apta Kamaha Yatra Tat Satyasya Paramam Nidhanam. So we were looking at this verse where Upanishad is talking about, or you can say extolling, praising Satyam as a value. So Satyameva Jayate is again, it is taken as a very important Vakya in our nation, correct? Jayate here is Chandasam, it is actually Jayati we have to take. Truth alone triumphs, you can say, Satyameva Jayate. In fact, it should be more properly, we have to say, Satyavadi Jayate. The one who actually understands this value and leads one's life in keeping with the value of Satya is the person who actually triumphs. So here again, one question may come about, correct? What we see practically in life. How can we say truth alone wins? In fact, nowadays it looks like Andritam only is winning, correct? The one who is lying through their teeth, they are the ones who seems to be having a good life. So again, so this has to be understood properly, because those who are crooks, those who have no value for Satya and other universal values also, like Ahimsa, Satya, all these are all universal values. So here again, Satyam, although only Satyam is mentioned, it has to be taken as a Upalakshana. Okay, Upalakshana means what? Satyam is only indicatory here. It also implies other universal values like Ahimsa, and so many are there, correct? Amanitwadi values we saw before also. So this Satyam means the one who has this value of Satyam, the Satyavadi, is the one who triumphs, has to be understood properly. This sentence, if you take it with reference to Vyavahara, you cannot establish this. Although we have a very romantic idea that always truth alone wins, or maybe in movies also they try to show it like that. Finally, somehow the hero wins. But some movies, it's not like that, correct? Or even if the hero wins, at what cost? So, this has to be looked at differently. It should not be looked at just, this statement can be very confusing if you just look at it from the standpoint of the worldly life. But here, we are not talking about that. We are talking about a mumukshu here. So, in that context, if you take, those who are rishis, those who are dharmikaha, those who follow dharma, for them all these values initially they are cultivated, correct? You make an effort to lead your life according to certain values. Then it becomes spontaneous. And those who lead a life according to these values, they triumph. And they triumph in what way? That also we have to understand. The ones who lead their life not in keeping with dharma, the adharmika people, those who are andritavadi, for them, although it may look that as though that they are gaining in this worldly life, that gain is not a real gain. That gain doesn't even matter to a mumukshu, understand that. Or a person who has dispassion, vairagya, whether a person really gains anything in this worldly life by saying Satya or Andrita is immaterial, that doesn't even matter. But even otherwise, if you take, for an adharmika person, the very crime is some sort of a punishment. That also we have to understand. Because when you do something which is not in keeping with dharma, you are going against the order, you are rubbing against the order, and you are not going to feel good about it. There are some hardened criminals anyway, psycho people are also there. We are not talking about them. But in general, whenever we go against the order, the moral order, which is nothing but a manifestation of Isvara, if you go against that, what is the problem? You are going to have a certain guilt, because nobody can feign ignorance. You do things knowingly. So you do something wrong and you know that. You cannot feign ignorance. And since you are doing something knowingly, you are going to have guilt. And on top of that, you can also have fear. And if you are a religious person, you should also have the fear that you are going to gain papam. Understand that. So it's not only the fear of the state or some law enforcement agency. Of course, that also is there. Even recently we saw here, even the chief secretary was raided. He was dismissed from his post. So that's a big thing. They may have felt they are the kings, they can do anything and get away, but even such people don't get away. So when the time comes, anybody can get caught. So that fear will be there. So guilt, fear, all these things you are going to have if you are leading a life of Andritam, a life which is not in keeping with dharma. So that itself is a punishment. On top of that, you can get jail terms, you can be humiliated, and you are also gaining papa, which again is going to rectify as some unpleasant experience. So all these things are there. So in real life also you see, although it looks like that somebody who is not following dharma looks like they are successful and they are getting away and all that, it is nothing really. It's a bad bargain. Any which way you look at it, it is a bad bargain. And even if the Satyavadi looks like he is suffering, like Harishchandra suffered, but the thing you have to understand is, leading life as per dharma itself is a triumph. Understand that. Whether you get anything out of that or not, whether your life is comfortable or not, whether your life is becoming hard, it doesn't matter. The fact that you are a Satyavadi, that you are leading your life according to dharma, itself is a triumph. Only such people can be qualified for moksha. Understand that, which is the greatest thing which you can achieve. Nothing else is greater than that. So that way, Satyavadi alone wins always. Is that clear? So I want to make this thing clear so that there is no confusion in that. So Satyena Pantha Vitataha Devayanaha. So the path which is laid out by Satya is what? It is where the chariot, the heavenly chariots go. So that is the path. Okay? And where does it take you? It takes you to Brahmaloka, it takes you to Brahman itself. It is the path to Brahman. This leading a life of ethics and morality and a religious life in keeping with dharma is the one which is the path which is laid out for you to reach this Brahman. And that is the same path this rishis also. Rishayaha akramanti. Okay. And what kind of rishis they are? They are apta kamaha. So again, apta kamaha can be looked at in two ways. If you look at it absolutely, it is that for one, all the desires have been fulfilled. Even in Taittiriya Upanishad, it says, So snute sarvan kamaan saha. So saha yugapat. When you have this knowledge, along with that knowledge, what happens? Simultaneously, you achieve all your desires, all the kamas are fulfilled for you. That is because you are no more a wanting person. You do not look upon yourself as a wanting person. You are Purnaha. There is nothing wanting. I am not a wanting person anymore, means all my desires are fulfilled. So that is one way of looking at it. Or relatively, at least we have to say apta kamaha means they are yogis, karma yogis. For they have mastery over their likes and dislikes. So such people, rishayaha. Rishayaha means they are dharmikaha. They do not cause any disharmony. They do not want to get ahead in life by robbing somebody else, by robbing somebody else. These are people who are only committed to this Brahma Vidya, mumukshus, and they gain this Brahmaloka, Brahman. Okay? And what is this moksha which we are talking about? That is the Paramam Nidhanam. It is the greatest treasure. So here, moksha is equated to treasure. It is like you dig and find lot of gold. Correct? Similarly here, digging means what? Again, you are a seeker. Correct? And you find yourself as Brahman. There cannot be any greater treasure than that. Correct? See, treasure means gold is there already. Even if you go and mine for gold, you don't really get 100% pure gold, correct? In fact, as children we have gone to this polar gold field and all that. So in a gold mine also what you really get is you don't really, when we were going there as children we thought that the sand itself will be glittering or something. It is not really like that. You have to do lots of processing to get even a gram of gold. But still it is a gold mine. But here treasure means it is gold itself you have got. It's not like a gold mine or a gold ore which has to be like processed a lot to actually get the gold. Here Brahman is what you are getting, that is the greatest treasure. And that is what you get by leading a life of Satya. A Satyavadi is the one who is qualified for that. So that is the important thing here. So a life of values. Again here you can see Pantha means a path. Path to Brahman, and Brahman as a treasure, as though it is something to be gained externally, like that an imagery is used by Upanishad. That means some people can again get confused. Some people are looking for vakyas like this to misinterpret whatever. Anyway, so here, so the next verse, Upanishad again makes it very clear what is the Swarupa of this Brahman. Because you should not again think that Brahman means you have to then go to some loka, Goloka Vrindavan or some loka. Or it is some treasure which you have to attain externally. So all these ideas, wrong ideas should not be there. All this imagery is only used to convey a particular point, that's all. How great it is. But you should not take it literally. So to actually explain it properly, the next verse is started. So let us look into that. Brihatcha tad divyam.
Brihatcha tad divyam.
Vidyam illa divyam.
Yeah. Divyam. Tad divyam.
Achintya roopam.
Achintya roopam.
Sukshmacha tat sukshmataram vibhati.
Sukshmacha tat sukshmataram vibhati.
Durat sudure.
Durat sudure.
Tadiha antike cha.
Tadiha antike cha.
Pashyanti ihaiva nihitam guhayam.
Pashyanti ihaiva nihitam guhayam.
Again, so beautifully the Upanishad is explaining here. Tad brihat. Tad means what? Tad. Here is whatever Brahman which is under discussion. Okay, the subject matter under discussion is indicated by Tat. Brihat. Brihat means what? Great, limitless. So, in the previous Upanishad verse, we were talking about Devayanaha, Pantha and all that, correct? But for the limitless, what path can you have? Limitless means it is already right here, correct? It has to be there, available now. And it has to be available right here. You don't have to go anywhere for it. So again, so this path and all we have to understand accordingly, because Brahman is limitless. It is Brihat. Fine. Then what? Divyam. Divyam means what again? Again, Div Dhatu means something luminous, otherworldly, you can say here, heavenly, like that different meaning you can give. In fact, Shankaracharya in the Bhashya he says, Swayam Prabham, Anindriya Gocharam. So Swayam Prabham means what? That which is self-luminous. pure consciousness, which is self-luminous, that is Divyam. And also it is Anindriya Gocharam. It is not something, an object of any sense organ. So you cannot know this Brahman as an object, because it is not an object. It is you, it is your very Swarupa. That is why it is not available as an object. So it is pure consciousness, it is you. And you are the basis for both the subject and object. Both subject and object resolve in you. That is you, that is your real nature, pure consciousness. And it is not available as an object of any sense organ, Anindriya Gocharam. That is Divyam. And Achintya Rupam. What about mind then? It is not an object of any sense organ. Fine. That means it is not available for Indriya Pratyaksha. What about Anumana? Can I at least visualize it in my mind? That also is not possible. Achintya Rupam. It is not available for any thought. This again can be misinterpreted. So what people will say, okay, Brahman is not available for mind. Then why are you studying Shastra? Hey, that's not the point here. Even Upanishad says, Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasa Saha, like that. So from which the words return along with the mind. So what does it mean? That means it is not an object of your mind also. Simply it cannot be objectified, because if it becomes an object of your mind, it cannot be Brihat. It is no more limitless. It will be limited, because you can confine it within your mind as an object of your mind. Brahman is not that. Understand that. So then again people will say, Achintya Rupam, Brahman is beyond your mind. Okay? Brahman is beyond your mind. So again, don't read all the Shastra and all that. Why are you doing Shravanam? Dive deep within yourself. So these are all misconceptions. Only by doing proper Shravana with a Guru and studying the Shastra, you can understand your Swarupa and Brahma Swarupa also. There is no other way. Just by sitting, an ignorant person meditating will still remain an ignorant person. Understand that. Maybe meditation will give you a certain disposition of your mind, which is again desirable. We are not saying that one should not meditate and all that. But that alone is not going to be a means for your moksha. Meditation is definitely a very important sadhana, but it is not the sakshat sadhana for moksha, for jnana, because meditation is not a means of knowledge. If you want to gain knowledge, you require a means of knowledge, and Shastra is the means of knowledge for us, and you have to study the Shastra with a Guru. So, here, Achintya Rupam means it is not an object of your mind also. It is that by which your mind functions as mind. Understand that. Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat. Like that Kenopanishad very beautifully it shows us, it reveals what this Brahman is. It is the Shrotrasya Shrotram, in ear of the ear. Like that I can translate very easily. But again, what does it mean? It is the one by which the ear is hearing. By the very presence of this Chaitanyam alone, all your mind and sense organs are functioning. They get their sentiency, awareness, only because of the manifestation of this Chaitanya. That is you. So, you are Achintya Rupam because you can never objectify yourself either as an object of your mind or even object of any sense organs. That is why in fact you are Sukshmat Sukshmataram. That Brahman itself is subtler than the subtlest. Okay? Why? That is why in fact this knowledge also is very subtle. If you understand, it is very simple. So Ati Sulabham, like that even Ramana Maharishi used to sing this song, it seems. Ayye Ati Sulabham Atma Vidya Ayye Ati Sulabham, like that. So it is Ati Sulabham if you understand it properly, if you are qualified. Because it is about you. You are always available. And it is about your very nature. But again, it is very subtle and difficult because you cannot be objectified and known. Generally, from childhood onwards, we have been conditioned to know things by objectifying them. Understand this. But here, it is not about any object, it is about yourself. You cannot be objectified. You need not be objectified. That is the most important thing you have to understand. To know yourself, you don't have to use any pramana because you are self-luminous. You don't have to be objectified and you have to just be yourself. That is this important thing. So, it is very easy actually. It's not a very difficult thing. But it is again Sukshmat Sukshmataram. Even if you create a vacuum, there is no vacuum for us. Understand that. We have only puja. Numeric, number wise also we have only puja. Puja means that which is worshipful. Even if you remove everything, what is there is Chaitanyam has to be there, correct? You cannot remove the observer. There has to be an observer to say it is vacuum, there is nothing there. That observer is Chaitanya. You remove all Namarupa, what remains is glory, we say, Vibhuti. See the beauty of our vision. Vibhuti also, you put everything into fire, what happens? The Namarupa vanishes. Whatever you put into the fire, finally what comes out is ash. It is only one Rupa, one Nama. You put all the different Nama Rupa into fire, you get it as ash. Similarly, you put all this entire world of Nama Rupa into the Jnanagni, your Divya Chakshu, whatever you can say, correct? Jnana Chakshu, third eye. And what comes out is the glory of the Lord, which is Vibhuti. Why? Because it is Chaitanya. When all the Nama Rupa are gone, what remains is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, your consciousness, which is yourself. That is what we call Vibhuti also. That is our culture. So this Brahman is subtler than the subtlest, but Vibhati, Vividam Bhati. It is the one which appears as everything also. It is the meaning of every word. It is not the meaning of any one word. Understand that. It is none of these things, but it is all of these things. This entire world is Brahman. But Brahman is not this world. All the Nama Rupa in the pot world, all the pots are clay, but clay is not pot. So this has to be understood very clearly. Satyam Nitya again. So Brahman only appears as all the things, including the subject. The subject and object both are there in you. The entire space-time is there in you, correct? Brihat means what really? Limitless. Forest is what? Limitlessness is not that you expand yourself in space. See, some people, again, all this meditation problem. You go and teach somebody and say you are limitless and all that, then they close their eyes and imagine they are spreading all over this world within space. That's not the idea. You don't have to spread anywhere and all that. You are the very space itself. Then what is there to spread? You are the space. You are time. The space-time itself is you. That is the knowledge we are talking about. That is how you have to understand limitlessness. Not that you are spreading within the space. Then what happened to the space itself? Is it different from you? Is it different from Brahman? So, because for us it is very clear, Tasmad etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha. Like that the Upanishad is very clear, Taittiriya Upanishad says Akasha came from this Atma. It is very clear also, correct? Even in your dream world, the entire dream space-time comes out of you like a big bang. So, that is something we are all the time experiencing. It's nothing new. So this waking world is no different from that. If you want, you can say it is Isvara's dream or whatever, but still, it is like that. It's only Nama Rupa. It's Mithya. And if you look at the entire world of Nama Rupa as nothing but Brahman, then they vanish. They are not there really speaking. Because in your vision, the Nama Rupa does not count. If you look at the stone, there is no dog, correct? If you look at it as a dog by mistake, then there is no stone. You are afraid, in fact, of the dog. But if you look at it as stone, then there is no dog there. Stone is stone, that's all. The Nama Rupa does not count. Similarly here, although this Brahman is subtler than the subtlest, it also is appearing as everything. Each and every object is this Brahman. Then only it can be really Ananta, correct? Anantatvam, when we talk about three things we talk. Space-wise, it has to be limitless. In fact, we say the very space itself is Brahman. Akasha has come from this Brahman alone. Time also. Time-wise, it has to be Ananta. A long time is not Ananta. Understand that. Eternal. I was waiting for you eternally. Means normally you waited half an hour or something. But here, eternal means the very time itself is Brahman. And then each and every object, Desha Kala Vastutaha Anantam, we have to say. So in terms of space, time and objects, Brahman is all Nama Rupa. All objects are Brahman. But when you understand Brahman as yourself, it is you, that's all. The Nama Rupa does not count anymore. So it is manifest as all the objects, Vibhati. Again, another, okay, some people are very, in this Zen Buddhism, they have something called koan or whatever, correct? They call it, I think. So some kind of contradictory statements are all given and they say that suddenly you become enlightened and all that. I don't know whether you really can become enlightened suddenly like that, but our Shastra uses such seemingly contradictory statements here also, but with a very good explanation. Okay, because sometimes statements like this are required for you to understand the reality. So first we said Sukshmat Sukshmataram, now we are saying Dura Sudure. So you can think about anything, because nowadays everything is astronomical time and all is there, correct? Light years and what not, in billions of years and all that we talk about. And even distances are talked about in light years and so many billions of and millions of light years and all that. So what? Even if you go there, Brahman is still there. It's all part of this Brahman alone. We talk about the entire space-time, whatever may be the dimension of that. Again, some people now talk about 3 dimension, 4 dimension, 5 dimension, 11 dimensions and whatnot. String theory and so many things and all people are talking about. So whether you have 4 dimensions, 3 space and 1 time, or even more than that, that also is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Durat Sudure. So however far your mind can go, your mind can conceptualize, or even you have special instruments like radio, telescope and whatever. Using all that, you can expand your perception wherever you go. There also this Brahman is there, because it is all the manifestation of the same Brahman. So whether you go astronomically or cosmologically, or you go atomically, quantum physically, whether you go at the macro level or at the micro level, everywhere it is the same Brahman. That is the beauty. So Durat Sudure. So you go to the remotest imaginable place, it is farther than that also. And Iha Antikecha, here nearby also. The nearest to you is what? Yourself, correct? That is this Brahman. It is your very nature as Chaitanya. So you can go anywhere, and also it is there as yourself, which is like nearest to you. And how is it available? Pashyatsu ihaiva nihitam guhayam. It is available in the one who is conscious, one who is seeing. It is the seer's Swarupa, and is available in the Buddhi Guha. It is placed, it is available in your Buddhi. So again, available in your Buddhi to know, but not as an object. Understand that. This availability again only points to the fact that this Chaitanya of Brahman is manifest as the sentiency and awareness and all that, and again the misconception, wrong notions are centered in your Buddhi, and it has to be removed from there. With reference to that, Brahman is available to you in your intellect. Manasa eva anudrashtavyam, like that there are statements are there. So this Brahman again is available to you in your own Buddhi. Okay? And you know it. So this is the beautiful verse here, and The next verse also we will see. So, what is the means by which this Brahman is named? What is the particular sadhana, asadharanam sadhana, by which this Brahman can be gained? That has to be pointed out again. So that is what the Upanishad is doing here. Let us look at that verse. Na chakshusha grihyate.
न चक्षुषा गृह्यते
Napi vacha.
नापि वाचा
Na anyaihi devaihi.
न अन्यैः देवैः
Tapasa karmana va.
तपसा कर्मणा वा
Jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvaha.
ज्ञानेन विशुद्धः
Tatastu tam pashyate nishkalam.
ततस्पश्यते निष्कलम्
Dhyayamanaha. Here I think tapasa karmana va it should be. Karmana va, I think it is spelling mistake here. Tapasa karmana va. So here, how do we gain this Brahman? Brahman was talked about as Sukshmat, Sukshmataram, correct? Durat, Sudure and all that. And again, it was said that it is Achintya Rupam, Divyam. The same thing here is talked about even more clearly, you can say. Na chakshusha. Brahman cannot be seen by your eyes. Because it is yourself. Correct? Grihyate, na grihyate. Vacha. Even by words it cannot be revealed or obtained or perceived. Because it is not the meaning of any one particular word. Understand that. So although finally we have to understand this Brahman only through Sabda Pramana, by Veda Pramana, still it is not revealed by any one particular word. Okay, so Vacha na grihyate. Then what? Anyaihi devaihi. Here devaihi means again sense organs. Even in the previous verse, Divyam, Bhashyakara translated as Anindriya Gocharam. Similarly here, Devaihi means that which is luminous. And here it is taken as Indriyas. So even by other sense organs, any sense organ also, it will not be revealed by any sense perception. Other sense organs. Eye was anyway talked about, even through other sense organs. And it cannot be obtained by tapasa, by religious disciplines also, na tapasa, or by any karma also, karmanava, by doing any rituals. Why? Because it is not a karma phala. Karma phala is there in four ways only it can be there. Either by doing karma you can create something newly, correct? Or something is dirty, you purify it and make it as though it is new, something different. Or you modify whatever is there and create something, like you have milk, from there you create butter and ghee and all that. So, or you go and reach it. So, karma phala, only these four types are there, understand that. It can be a karya, a new creation, like a pot from clay. Or it is something like you have a copper or a brass vessel, you nicely clean it and keep it shining new. So it can be samskaryam, it can be vikaryam, it can be a modification, or it is apyam, you go and reach it. Like from Chennai I go to Delhi, Karma phala can be only these four types, but Brahman being limitless is breath, so it cannot be the result of any action. So it cannot be attained by any karma also. Then how do we get this Brahman? Jnana prasadena. Only by this jnana, by the blessing of this knowledge. Correct? So, Vishuddha Sattvaha. One whose mind is pure. Again, purity means what? One who is not under the spell of any ragadvesha. One whose mind is purified by all the values with which you have lived your life. One who is having dispassion, vairagya. One who is a mumukshu. So all these things. Samadhi, Shatka, Sampattihi, Vairagya, Viveka, all these things one who has. That person has Vishuddha Sattvaha. That is the person, one whose mind is pure. Okay? For that person, recognizes Pashyate, Tataha tu Pashyate. And again, how? Dhyayamanaha. So, Dhyayamanaha here is inquiry. Okay, inquiry into this Brahman. So, you inquire into this Brahman, into this Atma, and see this as Nishkalam, free from any attribute. So, Nishkalam means what? Atma is not having any attribute. It is yourself, but it doesn't have any attribute. Shuddha Chaitanya does not have any color. It cannot be categorized also into any jati. It does not have any guna. It does not have any kriya. It does not have any sambandha also. So jati, guna, kriya, sambandha, rahitaha is Brahman, is Atma. Okay, and is Nishkalam. That's why it is free from any attributes. And such a recognition one gains. The one with the pure mind and one who is doing this inquiry into this Brahman. Okay, so one should have this pure mind already. And thereafter, by inquiry, you understand this Atma as Nishkalam. Jnana prasadena, again by the blessing of this knowledge. So here again, what important thing is, one requires a means of knowledge to recognize this Atma. This Jnanam again takes place only in the buddhi. Understand that. That's why Dhyaya Manaha and all is given here. And also Nihitam Guhayam was said in the previous verse. So you understand this Brahman in your buddhi through the means of knowledge, which is nothing but Shastra. Pratyaksha and all cannot be a means of knowledge. That is what is made clear here. Na chakshusha grihyate and all that. Is that clear? So you cannot understand this Atma through perception or inference. In fact, Pratyaksha alone is called Mula Pramana because all other Pramana, see, Advaitins generally we accept 6 Pramanas, 6 means of knowledge. Out of this, Pratyaksha is the most important thing. That is the Mula Pramana. Because all others are dependent on that. Anumana also you can do only if you have prior Pratyaksha. Upamana also is dependent on Pratyaksha. Unless you see 2 things, you cannot compare them and come to some knowledge. Arthapati also requires prior Pratyaksha. Okay, because it's a two-step inference, you can say, presumption. Anyatha anubhavatihi is arthapatihi. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, Devadatta dine na bhunte. Stulo Devadatta dine na bhunte. The fat Devadatta does not eat during the day. Means what is the inference? You see two things here. One is Devadatta remains fat. Another is he does not eat during the day. Then you say, otherwise it is not possible. Otherwise what? He has to eat at night. Ratro bhunte. So, that is arthapatti. But even there, pratyaksha has to be there. Then anupalabdhi means cognizing absence. Even to cognize absence, first you have to cognize the adhisthana of that absence, correct? I say pot is not there. Where, you will ask? Because pot is there in the potter's house. It is not there in your table maybe. So, you have to first cognize. Pratyaksha is involved. You have to see the adhisthana. Then the anupalabdhi pramana operates and says, hey, in that adhisthana, whatever you are looking for is not there, correct? So, pratyaksha is the mula pramana in the vyavahara. Only shruti, even for shruti you have to say because you have to hear it, correct? Shruti also depends on that to an extent for operating. But whatever is revealed by shruti is not dependent on pratyaksha. Understand that. For the shruti pramana vyapara, still pratyaksha, indriya pratyaksha is required. Because you have to hear, maybe you are reading a book, all that is fine. But what is actually revealed by shruti has got nothing to do with pratyaksha. That is why it is an independent means of knowledge. And whatever is revealed by pratyaksha and the pramanas which are dependent on pratyaksha are all limited. Okay? Pratyaksha and pratyaksha based pramana can only reveal limited things, objects of your mind, objects of your senses. But shruti alone reveals to you that which is ananta. And how does it reveal you? It reveals it as yourself. It's the only way it can be, correct? You are the adhisthana for both the subject and object. You are the invariable in every cognition. And that is ananta. And you are not restricted by space-time also. Space-time is in you. That is what has to be understood. So all this can be understood only through the revelation of Shruti. And Shruti is revealing that to you. So again, only through words we understand that Brahman is beyond words. Understand that. So if anybody comes and says, no, all this Shastra is only a guidebook. You have to read and then sit and meditate and all that. As though meditation is an independent means of knowledge, it's all wrong. Understand that they don't understand what is pramana. They don't understand what is pramana vyapara, what happens between a guru and shishya. Okay? And they are not sampradayavit. The one who does not understand the sampradaya, the teaching methodology, and the one who has not come in a parampara, they have no idea about all these things. And asampradayavit has to be kept away. Don't go near those who do not know the traditional methodology of teaching. It's only going to confuse you. So here, you have to learn. You can also learn even through symbols, correct? It need not be always words. Chin mudra is good enough. So Chin mudra is the famous Jnana mudra we have, correct? All our devatas are holding that mudra. Dakshinamurti is having Chin mudra. Ayyappa, Dharma Shastra is having Chin mudra. Devi also can have Chin mudra. So this Chin mudra, again, what does it say? It only gives you this Aikya Jnanam. A circle has no beginning nor end, correct? That's why it indicates the Ananta. The Jiva, when it is there with the other three fingers, Jiva here is in the Chin mudra, what we have to understand is the forefinger is the one which represents the Jiva. When it is there with the other three fingers, it is the limited Jiva. But thumb is Isvara. When it is joined with the thumb, it is infinite, because the circle doesn't have any beginning or any end. And in reality, it is not this Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira, or the waker, dreamer, or sleeper, all these things. It is one with Isvara. Like the two bird analogy was given here. So in Chin mudra we have two fingers. And in reality, the forefinger and thumb come together and they are one and the same. They create, or I cannot say they create, they are one and the same basically. They come together and indicate or signify this limitlessness. So like that way also you can be taught. Okay, because this Dakshinamurti, they say, taught through silence and all that. Again, silence has to be interpreted correctly. If somebody sits silent, 100 people can interpret that silence in 100 different ways. So, anyway, but a mudra can be interpreted correctly. To interpret that also you require proper parampara and sampradaya. So anyway, the Shastra is highly sophisticated, correct? Because through words, we are trying to reveal that which is not the meaning of any one particular word. That is why we have to use all sorts of, you can say even seemingly contradictory statements and all that to make you understand. So Atma is not the meaning of any one particular word. It cannot be the direct meaning of any word, but it is the meaning of all words. That is the beauty. That is what one has to understand very clearly. So that is what is talked about here also in this particular verse beautifully. Atma cannot be known through any Indriya Pratyaksha or any Pramana based on Pratyaksha. It cannot be known by any tapas. Means any amount of meditation and all that is not going to give you, or religious disciplines also by itself is not a means. The only means is knowledge. Okay? Knowledge. That is knowledge which comes via Upanishad. Upanishadam Brahma. Okay? So that is the way we can gain this. Again, tapas can also be looked at as jnanamayam tapaha. When we talk about like that, then through that this Brahman is gained. But here tapas is not jnanamayam tapas. Here we have to take it as just religious disciplines. Okay, when we say here tapasa na labhyaha, so that you should not get confused, because in some places Because tapasa, brahma vijijñāsasva, like that Taittiriya Upanishad, it is there. So there it is jnanamayam tapas, where inquiry. In fact, here also we talk about dhyayamanaha. That inquiry itself is called tapas, which is okay. So like that, this jnana prasada is the main thing. Only through knowledge you can gain Brahman. And to gain jnana, you should have a Vishuddha Sattva. And you have to do proper thinking, proper inquiry of the Shastra with the help of a Guru. Because Acharyavan Purusho Veda, like that, even Upanishad says. So that's how we gain this Brahman. So the rest of the things we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam
Purnamadah Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnameva Vasishyate
Purnameva Vasishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om.